Good afternoon. Today is the 28th of February and we're just on our way to see Mr. Coleman, rubbish mechanic, who's going to give his appraisal of this lovely 1993 Audi V8 4.2 Quattro that Simon from Not 76 Cars and I bought on Valentine's Day. We never had the intention with this car of ever buying it unless Mr. Coleman, who I've known for many, many years, would be working on it. One of the reasons why he's working on it is because one of his friends actually owns a 1990 3.6 Audi V8, which is even rarer than this 4.2 type, I think. They're rare cars anyway. They you don't see them at all, really. So we're very blessed to have him working on this, like he works on a lot of the other cars that we have. And he is looking forward to getting his hands on it. Now, we know that there are some problems with this car. We know there are quite a few problems with this car, actually. And one of them I have just identified whilst driving up here on the M40, which is that if you go quite fast, above about 40 miles an hour, the car has a tendency to hesitate and kangaroo. And if you push the throttle down, it won't actually accelerate particularly fast. It's actually better to back a little bit. And on a light throttle, it will bring you eventually up to speed, like 70 or something. But if you try to push too much harder, or you go up a hill or something like that, it will just sort of hesitate and kangaroo. So I think there's something up. Either the car's got some really old fuel in it and it's stale, or there's something else wrong with it. It could be just needs a major service, which is what it's going to have anyway. So we'll talk to Mr. Coleman once I actually get through these traffic lights and you can actually see what's going on again. This low sun's not particularly good for filming, and I will catch up with you shortly.
Thanks, mate. Joseph's Audi V8 has appeared here at Rubbish Mechanic Towers for some love. Yeah, we're going to be doing an awful lot of work on this. It needs cam belt, great. No. Needs a full service. Needs a thermostat, which you have to take the cam belt off to do these engines anyway. It's got an idle problem, which I think I've diagnosed to be something in there somewhere. We've got no heat in the cab, but the engine seems to be running okay. It's at temperature, so it's either a faulty gauge sender plus something that's wrong with the HVAC system, which I will have a look at. I've just managed to reseat the back seat correctly because these are a sod, because that's where the battery lives and where the fuel pump is. We need to do some rear light repairs, or if possible replacements. It's letting in a lot of water into the boot, and just generally make sure it's fit for the road when it leaves here. So these are quite an involved engine to work on. I am fortunate enough to look after one of these, and it belongs to a very good friend of mine who's had this from new. The cam belts on these aren't actually that bad to do, but it involves the entirety of the front end coming off, purely to get at the crank pulley and give a lot more access to be able to get in there to do some work. It is a massive cam belt that's on these. I think if you cut it in half and spread it from end to end, I think it's nearly 14 feet long. So yeah, I've got all the special tools and that for locking the cams and the crank, so there's no issues there. If I find anything, which I hope I don't. Yeah, so there's a lot to do, but thanks for bringing it to me, mate. It's going to be an absolute pleasure to do it.
And we've got the shot indicator lens down here as well.
Yes. Just cracked through age and time, haven't they? So we can do that. We can sort that out. But yeah, so I will keep Joseph updated with progress. And
let's go look at the interior.
Go and have a look at the interior. Yeah, so it's a very nice car inside. These always were, and I've actually had a real soft spot for one of these, but I've never been brave enough to own one. I've owned some stupid Alphas over the years, but maybe working and driving this for a couple of weeks may convert me, so you never know. But yeah, so I've just managed to reseat the back seat, which is an absolute sod. I needed the help of Joseph's derriere in order to get it in, because the back seat comes out on runners, because the battery's under here the fuel pump and that's way across over the other side, but the seat comes out on runners. It's like that sort of effect, Tommy Cooper stuff. And yeah, so that's back in. I don't intend on having to lift that out again unless I need to get it to sort at the fuel gauge, so which time I might need to borrow your backside again, mate. But other than that, we're pretty good. So these are quite common. We had an Audi 200 many years ago, and we suffered with the same thing on these. I don't know what it is, but these lights tend to degrade through UV light, is what I think, and they split along these seams here. There's a foam gasket that's in this part here which lets in water, and the same again has happened on this one. There's a tiny little hole in that one there, but this crack extends all the way down the side, right the way under here and underneath. And if you zoom in on this piece here, mate, we're going to have to change that because it looks overdue, because we've got blinker fluid in there.
The boot.
Where's the boot thing?
Okay.
Oh. We should have some nice water pour out of there now. But yeah, that's...
It's come down here.
Oh, great. But yeah, so we can look at resealing these and replacing them, because everything's all on foam gaskets. So if you need to take it off and put some black sealant and stuff in there, we can do. But if we can find particularly this lens and that one, it'll make the car look a hell of a lot better and stop leaking water.
And these are separate pieces.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also we're going to have to change the number plate.
We are. That will not pass an MOT like that.
It's a shame because these are original plates.
I really don't want to look at that. It's going to be interesting getting that out. Oh well, never mind. We're okay, I've got it.
It's a very heavy boot, this.
Yeah. You obviously need the Audi badge and that for the back. But yeah, it's nice in here. I really like it. I need to put that back on for you because that changed its mind about being on the car. Everything seems to be reading okay, other than the temperature gauge, which I believe could be a faulty temperature sender. Because like I say, I believe the engine to be running perfectly at temperature, and everything electronically seems to be working okay at the front. So we are going to replace the temperature sender, but I really don't want to have to do this if there's a problem with the HVAC system, because it's not really, it's blowing lukewarm air, it's not hot. Well, I really don't want to have to take the dashboard out of this, but if I've got to, I suppose I'm going to have to, aren't I?
And the fuel gauge?
The fuel gauge does not currently read at the moment. The car, I believe, has had a new fuel pump in it. I'm hoping it's just a simple case of that it's not earthing out to the body to give the fuel gauge the accurate reading, which is quite common on a lot of Volkswagen Audi products. Or they've fitted an eBay special fuel pump that the gauge simply just doesn't work in it. Or plan C is the actual float in the fuel tank, which gives the reading, has perished or degraded and has actually sunk in the tank, so you're constantly getting an empty fuel gauge.
Yeah. All right, so I suppose we'd better just have a little drive around the neighbourhood.
Yes, we can do that. Well, first impressions, it actually feels quite tight. A little bit of a groan on the power steering, which, there she goes. And I think that's the strut tap mountings are dry. So we'll give those some attention.
Incredibly light steering.
Yeah, it is. Seems to have plenty of power, which is nice.
It's around 276 horsepower.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. It's great. Got cracking oil pressure.
The engine was serviced twice in 2023 and 2024.
Brakes are nice and progressive, which is what you want. Yeah, this is nice. This is, mate. You've done well here.
So, Mr. Coleman, you don't think Simon and I have been complete idiots?
Not completely. Not completely. Yeah, it's a rare bit of motoring nostalgia, which nobody's going to know what it is, which is what I like, because it'll draw attention to itself. And yeah, you know, I personally think once it's done and once it's had its work done and all the paintwork smarted up on it, it'll be a very, very nice car indeed. I just can't wait for somebody, how many people you're going to see at a show when you take it there. They're going to come up and ask you what it is. Is it an Audi 100? No. Is it an Audi 200? No, it's bigger than an Audi 200. Oh, well, what is it then? Well, it's an Audi V8. Oh, so it's an Audi A8? No, it's an Audi V8. Oh, and then you can get a conversation going with it. You see?
Excellent, sir.